What's the word, y'all? I love James Gunn, okay? Man's a living legend with Guardians and Superman and all that. But if I was him right now, I would be ordering an entire vat of acid to my mansion and begging ChatGPT to make me an interdimensional portal to go to another universe. Because in all seriousness, if I was a super director in charge of, starting a new franchise, if I heard that an anime movie surpassed the freaking Man of Steel himself, I would seriously consider changing franchise for the third time. Can we just pause for a second, take a deep breath, and just savor the Looney Tunes world we're living in right now? That an anime movie was more lucrative than the superhero template itself. Like, congratulations to Demon Slayer and all of their fans and its community. This is not merely a win for them, it is also a massive dub for all anime fans out there. It's an entire earthquake shift for the anime community itself, proving that we are in fact living in the great anime era, where weebs rule the world. Listen, I know the rest of the anime community doesn't want to say it, but Demon Slayer, do you even want me to say it? To all the Demon Slayer fans, do you think you really want me to say it? It's the next big thing, okay? It's the next big thing. It's one of them shonen anime that hooks you from the very start and takes you on a ride. It's like, protecting Epstein, it's very addictive. But again, seeing that my channel is all about One Piece, and as a diehard One Piece fan who theorized that One Piece is just Luffy in a harem anime, seeing other animes being more successful than One Piece, not in my boat, not in my boat. That's why I was thinking, if all the planets were to align, all the super directors, master editors, and even Oda himself were all crammed into one hot writer's room for 24 hours, gangbanging it out, and they come out of that room pooping out the most perfect, One Piece movie ever made, even God comes down to earth and say, yo, what's up? Could it top Demon Slayer's insanity in the box office? Like, subscribe, support small creators, and fuck Jack. Before we talk about how One Piece could possibly replicate or even, surpass Demon Slayer's success in the box office, we first have to talk about how Demon Slayer went full on batshit crazy. If you take a look back at 2020, and I know people don't want to look back at 2020, some people face very hard times, but again, just look back at 2020, trust me, it's worth it. Flashback to 2020, Mugen Train comes out and completely annihilates the box office, taking in more than $500 million worldwide. Who would imagine that amidst these months of freedom per se, the amounts of free time we have, time you could have spent obtaining a six-pack, learning how to play guitar, or even learning quantum physics itself, who knew that the cure for COVID was actually binge-watching anime? Demon Slayer rocked the world, and then followed that up with JJK. They literally dropped synchronized time bomb in Japan. And it's good. It's a good bomb now. They were short, they were snappy, they were irresistible, and goddammit, they were good. Now, fast forward to 2025, Infinity Castle Part 1 makes over $300 million in its opening month alone, surpassing James Gunn's Superman, F1, and even Fantastic Four on a really low budget of $20 million. With that being said, here's the gut punch and the ball punch for all One Piece fans out there. One Piece is popular and is by far the head of shonen itself, one of the highest selling fictional pieces of all time. And I'm sure all the other One Piece movies were really good. Would it ever come, to what Demon Slayer is doing in the box office? Believe me, I think a One Piece movie can reach for the stars and aim for the big spot in Hollywood, for sure. And I'm not saying a One Piece movie will never reach that success. I'm just saying that our expectations should be good and a decent One Piece movie, and not something like, world ending, they're gonna shut down theaters because, Luffy is so popular, One Piece is so popular, or something like that. That shouldn't be the first thing we go off on, and I understand that. But again, if I was a toxic One Piece fan, I can finally use the One Piece sold more tickets line to win every argument. Now, let's talk about numbers first, okay? Because I ran them last night. Maybe. I don't know. One Piece film read in 2022 franchise peak at 246 million worldwide. Again, that's good, but that is basically peanuts compared to Demon Slayer's, 2 movies. One Piece Stampede made over $94 million in 2019. One Piece Gold, $666 million in 2016. One Piece C made over $74 million worldwide. And Strong World, $61 million back in 2019. So how can One Piece level up its game? Well, if you see the trend with all these One Piece movies, almost all of them are non-canon. Side filler. They are side tales that don't really mess with the main narrative. Again, I would gobble up any One Piece movie down my stomach. But casuals, I don't know. They're pretty sure they'll skip it. But Demon Slayer goes the other way with this, okay? It involves canon arcs. Rebranded as essential to watch. No plot holes. No like, oh, I'll watch it later. No, it matters. The movie is non-filler. It's canon. Everything that movie, is showing is important to what you're gonna watch, I don't know, next season. So maybe One Piece can take that and think about it. Well, firstly, if they come at this with money in their eyes, they will fail. I know we're talking about surpassing Demon Slayer and the main goal is to make more money, but the final goal should be to make a good movie and a successful one. And money is a reflection of how successful the film is. So we're talking about money. Toei, it's time to get serious and say that the next One Piece movie should be a canon movie. I don't care if you say it. No! Fuck you. This is it. Canon movie. Make it now. Make it a One Piece movie worth watching because you need to watch it. We have yet to receive like a canon, like big top One Piece movie, okay? Not since like the weird 3D 2Y or something like that. I don't really watch it. There was a famous quote in Japan. It was like, go canon or die, or go die or canon. But that's the big blueprint that big animes are emulating right now as we speak. Demon Slayer's canon arc turns cinemas into a necessity. Alright, close your eyes and let the world paint 1,000 pictures, okay? Imagine this. Marineford film, chapters 550 to chapters 580, 30 plus chapters of pure, butt cheeks galore, pure testosterone, pandium, fuckfest or something like that. Over 30,000 characters die or something like that. Or I don't know, it's Oda, so maybe they don't die. There's admiral battles in Marineford, there's Luffy with his hockey, preparations down the line. Whitebeard's, imagine, Whitebeard's 4D earthquake, jutsu or something like destroying the ground like it's Kanye and Kim's fucking breakup. Imagine Ace's that in the cinema, bro. Imagine his death. Followed all that with new animations, new art style, or maybe not new art style, but like just better and better, It's a fucking reboot. Just imagine the emotional gut punches that a Marineford movie would have. I am not ready for like a One Piece is real type of like 4K animation, bro. Like, damn. Like, imagine going all that and they fucking lose. Spoiler, but they fucking lose. I think for newcomers and casuals, if they have not caught up, let's say they were in like Annie's lobby. Oh, no. If they're in Annie's lobby, they would fucking try to catch up as fast as they can. But if they were in like Skypiea or they were like in Alabasta and they announced like a Marineford movie is gonna happen in like a year's time, they will have enough time to catch up, I'm pretty sure. Especially if they market it as like, oh, everyone knows, okay, I think everyone knows Marineford. If they start watching One Piece, they should know Marineford is one of the greatest arcs in anime history, bro. It's like if you search the greatest arc in anime history, Marineford will show up. So maybe like the thought of like, oh shit, I gotta watch this as fast as I can. I gotta watch this, guys. So maybe they'll try to catch up to that very point. They'll watch Impel Down first, obviously. But they'll try to catch up before Marineford and watch the Marineford in theaters and just feel the euphoria happening to them all at once, okay? I mean, a man did ejaculate in the movie of like Demon Slayer, so maybe we'll get the same thing with One Piece, so who knows. I mean, for veterans like me, as a diehard One Piece fan, #1 One Piece fan in the world, I think hearing Marineford in movies in the theaters would make me camp outside, the movie theaters and probably, paying gas station hosts to like, give me a happy ending or something like that. I don't know, in the theaters. But imagine a Wano movie from the start and the fucking very end of Onigashima, bro. Crazy, bro. Again, instead of like making a recap of an arc, I mean, they did that with like 3D 2Y and Alabasta arc, Drum Island, which is fucking weird. I don't know why they did that. Maybe tell Oda in advance. You can be the sacrificial writer and like, oh, yo, Oda, we need a 15 to 16 chapter bite-sized action drama feels fulfilling ending, a satisfying ending perhaps. Work it into the manga. Stat. pronto. Like Demon Slayer. You see the Demon Slayer? I don't know. Oda might fucking laser beam his ass. Again, I don't know if Oda would agree with this. He's a very busy man with the final saga and all that. But with the success of Demon Slayer, would he change his mind? Probably not. He's like a billionaire. If not, then my pitch for an entire movie of canon-esque galore would be either the God Valley incident or the Rocky Port incident or the Epstein Island incident. No spoilers for newbies for both incident, but in summary, the God Valley incident is like an Epstein Island event on a Drake level world tour. You got by far the biggest stars in one island ready to duel it out. Any big character you can think of, any like star-studded character in One Piece, they're there in that island. For the Rocky Port incident, you got Law, a fan favorite, you got Blackbeard, a fan favorite, and Kobe might be soon to be fan favorite. But here's the big problem of making these types of movies. A franchise without its most recognized character, that might be a masterclass for failure. I know the God Valley incident is very hyped up. Rocky Port incident may be hyped up. But if you say like, oh, it will break the charts for sure. No. Like, and for the people who's arguing for the latter, you're not being realistic. I seen people arguing like, oh, like, you're being not a One Piece fan because you don't believe. What? Brother, think about it just for a little second. The most recognized character, Luffy, and his straw hat is not gonna be in either two films. What do you think is gonna happen? But again, it will be a massive success for all diehard fans. I don't even care. Casuals maybe don't want to see it, but please, if Toei, please, if you're gonna think about it, please. Because maybe if you market it as like Avengers Endgame prequel kind of thing, maybe we'll get some casuals there and there because, you know, they're interested, but who knows. But I completely understand if Oda or even Toei doesn't want to go with the canon approach. Again, a One Piece movie could still be very successful without being canon. Listen, I love Strong World. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Favorite anime movies of all time. But yes, a non-canon One Piece movie could still work, but they have to change things up. But again, it's time to level up. Make it R-rated. Why do One Piece movies stay PG-13 while the others are R-rated? Explain that. I want to see blood, gore, sex, adult content, sex. We're talking about the same anime that, you know, countless people are raising their flags across their countries for freedom, and we can't even make it R-rated. If you want to show big, beautiful, big titty woman falling out of the sky, show it. If Law wants to do that, show it. If Law wants to give a middle finger, show it. One Piece is not a kids show anymore, okay? Why stick to the same genre? Why stick to the same thing if you can do better? I was gonna talk about the story, but if Oda is, you know, writing it or collaborating with it, I know it's pretty good, okay? Oda's like the Gandhi and Martin Luther King of like making storytelling, okay? So I ain't exactly trembling, you know, I ain't exactly pooping my pants on the fear that, you know, the movie's gonna be a bad story. And for marketing wise, they did pretty good with the marketing of One Piece Film Red. They got Shanks, they got Ado collab, pretty much like the two things you need for a successful film. So right now they're going in the right direction. One Piece Film Red was actually pretty successful, and that was pre-live action One Piece, and that was pre-Gear 5 transformation, and that was pre-critical approving of One. Listen, I'm not saying One Piece needs all of these things to be successful. I'm not saying that. Please, bro, I'm not saying that. They can disregard everything I said, a non-canonical movie, and could still win and be successful. And One Piece can definitely win without Oda. But if you want to break Hollywood, if, you know, Demon Slayer is the standard now, it's time to go big. Go big or go home. Go canon, adult, hype. Let's show the world that One Piece is number one. Let's show the world it's number one. Again, congratulations to Demon Slayer and all their fans, but we are coming after your throne. So watch your back, Demon Slayer. Subscribe, like, support small creators. I love you guys. Real one say back.